So let's go ahead and move on to something else we want to talk about. Specifically, look at the quarterbacks. This spring, that's the position everyone is going to be talking about. And there's three guys who are in the mix for it. We think there's a clear favorite, but who knows?
I don't.
You don't think there's a clear favorite? Okay,
No.
So between Julian, Sayin, Tavian St. Clair, and Lincoln Kienholz, you don't think there is a clear favorite out of that group?
I think it's Julian, Sayin, right behind him, Lincoln, Gap, Tavian, and I read what Ryan Day said. He says he thinks it's gonna be a fierce competition. He said it's wide open, and earlier today I had a phone call with my guy Mike from Best Damn Media, cool butt guy on channel, and I asked him the same question I asked you about Lincoln if he was 85% of the passer that Julian Sayin was. I've asked a lot of other people this. And Mike's one of the few people on my side on this. If you're telling me, because this is how I imagine it. If Julian Sayin is a better thrower of the ball than Will Howard, I don't think he's going to throw 73 next year. I'm going to go somewhere around 70 to 71% throwing, okay? Let's say he's that. If you're telling me Lincoln Kienholz is throwing 67, 68% with his athletic ability, I'm taking that all day. I'm taking that all day.
So here's the problem with that, in my opinion.
And he's bigger.
Okay, sure. You have to take into account what kind of offense Brian Hartline is going to run now. Now that we know who the offensive coordinator is, that's a big factor in who they're going to choose to be the quarterback. We know how, obviously Hartline comes from the wide receiver room, so he's going to want to sling it. He's going to want someone who can put his guys in the best possible position to succeed. And I think, they think Sayin right now is in a position to do that more than Lincoln. And quite frankly, I think Tavian St. Clair has a shot to do that more over Lincoln. I don't think there's a huge gap between Lincoln and St. Clair. I will say Kienholz probably has the.
You don't?
No. I think Tavian St. Clair is really freaking good. I think he's got a shot to win the job. I don't think it's a good shot, but he's got a shot to win the job.
You think he has a better shot than Lincoln?
I do, and that's only.
Is that because you don't know what Lincoln looks like right now?
No. I think it's because Tavian is younger, and he would actually be able to develop within the program. If you have Lincoln here, it would end up being if he plays well, it could be like a one and done scenario. Whereas if Tavian shows, and I don't even think Tavian necessarily has to be even better than Kienholz. I think he's just got to be either tied or slightly worse than Kienholz because his potential is so much higher.
I don't think Ryan Day will fall for that. Because over the last 2 years, Ryan Day has said this every single time. He needs consistent play, consistent elite level play. I don't believe you're getting that at Tavian St. Clair. Not freshman year. I've never seen Ohio it's like the same thing I told these Michigan fans about Bryce Underwood. The chances that you see Trevor Lawrence in 2018, it's more than likely not going to happen. I think when you talk about Lincoln, we're talking about, because I think we all knew from the time he was recruited, he's a developmental project guy. He's not someone that's going to come straight in and light the place on fire.
But quite frankly, he was a guy, they didn't have a quarterback for the 2023 class. They're like, hey, you want to come to Ohio State because we need to know.
Right. He was committed to at the time.
Might have been Missouri. I don't remember.
It was some team out west. I'll think of it later. I'll think of it next week. But no, I just think that again, this solely is on whatever link. And that's what I'm holding out to.
Initially, was committed to Washington. That's who it was.
Yeah, Washington. So if Lincoln, none of us have any idea what Lincoln looks like right now. In my mind,
we have some idea. We saw what he did in the Cotton Bowl.
That's 2 years ago.
I understand that was 2 years ago, and he was a freshman, and he did not expect to play. I won't totally throw it out. I don't think you can hold that performance necessarily against him because of the situation he was in, with how bad the offensive line was, the fact that he wasn't even expected to play, and he was kind of thrust in that scenario. But in that game, he was 6 of 17 for 86 yards and was sacked once. And he only ran the ball. You talk about his legs. He ran the ball 2 times for 6 yards. So
that's 2 times. That's but we can't sit here and act like we don't know he's a better athlete. I don't think it's close. He's a better athlete than Julian. It's without a doubt. It's without a doubt.
I agree with that. I'm not willing to say that his athleticism overshadows everything that Julian Sayin can do on the football field in terms of passing wise. And when you have guys on the offensive line who we think are going to be a good unit together. Like we both think Jalen Daniels and Ethan Onawa are going to come in and start right away and solidify the tackle position. We both think Carson Hinsman's a solid option at center. And then it'll be Luke Montgomery at left guard. We'll see what they do at right guard, whether it's Tegra or Sareveld. If they have someone who can protect a drop back passer like Julian Sayin, and if he spins it like they think he can spin it, then I think he's going to be the favorite to win the job. I don't think it's a done deal though. I do think this will be a true competition in line with what we saw. I think all 3 guys are going to get a chance. Yeah, I think it's going to be more of a competition, more in line with what we saw. Maybe not in 2023, but 2021 when they were trying to figure out CJ and McCord and Devin Brown. I think that's more in line of what it is as opposed to 2023 when it was between McCord and Brown.
So just in comparison, okay? Because Lincoln didn't play last year.
Yep.
Lincoln's freshman year, he went 10 for 22, so 45.5%, 111 yards.
Yep.
No touchdowns, no picks. Julian went 5 for 12 this year, 41.7, 84 yards, touchdown, which we know that came on that 55-yard little dump pass. Anybody could have threw that. You could have threw that. I could have threw that. Which went 55 yards of his 84.
Yep. Well, and again, he was the third-string quarterback Keen Holtz was the third-string quarterback. No, Keen Holtz was the third-string quarterback for most of his tenure.
Yes,
that's part of what also has me so. That's also part of the reason why I don't think he's got a chance is because if he couldn't even if he could not beat out Devin Brown either, I think that's something to be somewhat concerned about.
I think that's seniority. I think that's seniority. I think that had nothing to do with play. I think Devin Brown is not that good. I just think that.
Okay, well then how about this? This should worry you a little bit. Julian jumped up Lincoln Keen Holtz. Julian was the backup. That's not seniority. That's just him being better. So I don't know that Keen Holtz has a super great shot of winning the job. Quite frankly, if I had it my way, I would have it as a true battle between Sayin and St. Clair.
Hell no. Oh no. I am not. Listen, if I'm telling you right now, if Tavian St. Clair goes out there week 1, week 2, no, week 1, we will get sandblasted at home. I promise you that. I don't
think so, but that's part of the reason why I don't think he's going to win the job. I truly think it's going to be Sayin, and I think it's going to be hard for either Lincoln or Tavian to catch him. And I can tell you
that's my thing. That's why I'm like, from what we're going based off what we know about him already, and you are right. I'll give you that. That is a good point. He did get put behind Julian last season. That's again, we didn't see him well last year. Not one throw, not one run. But I take into account there's a reason why in my head why he stayed. He could have left. I think he thinks there's a real chance he's going to get this job.
Well, that's where I was going to go next. Is if he doesn't get the job, he's out. He's going to transfer in the spring window, which he should. Quite frankly, he should. If he thinks he's got a chance to actually play somewhere, and he doesn't get the starting job this year, he's for his unless he just wants to be like a Buckeye lifer, which I'm fine with. Like, do you? But if he actually wants to play and start at in a college football program, he should leave in the spring if he doesn't win the job. Michael, one of the reasons why I want TSC to play so fast is because I've seen him in person. He's damn good. Now I will have this caveat. The competition that he played is not great. Bell Fountain is not, for those here in Ohio, Bell Fountain is not a big school. I think they're either D3 or D4. I don't remember, but they don't play the best competition. He did play Aaron Scott in a playoff game a couple of years back when Scott was still in high school, and that was a great matchup. But he's also killed at and I understand it's 7-on-7. He's done well at every single camp. He has the physical build. Like, he's got the physical tools to succeed at the next level. But he is just a true freshman. True freshmen do not play at Ohio State right away. So I don't expect him to win the job. Like, I don't.
I've seen guys we saw Terrell Pryor freshman year. Didn't look pretty.
They didn't have many other. They had no options then.
Yeah,
and honestly, same with Braxton when he started as a true freshman.
Yeah, he ain't that.
No. Well, he's a better passer than Braxton was. Braxton was not a good passer.
I mean, I think about when Colt McCoy played Ohio State his freshman year. That was ugly to watch. For Colt, it was. Yeah. I'm never gonna be a big fan of playing a freshman, and that's why when again, I think a lot of us right now or anyone that's not with Lincoln playing or they don't think Lincoln has a chance is because we have a thought process of what he has been last year or the year before as so far his career at Ohio State. As a junior, I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what he looks like in the spring. Because I think there is something to be said about the guy who's just a gamer. And actually, let me ask you, I'll ask you this. Because this is a better question for you, not for me. Would you rather have Dwayne Haskins or JT Barrett? Or actually, okay, would you rather have Dwayne Haskins? And this is an extreme. I'm not saying either of these guys are these guys, but it's just what I'm getting to. Would you rather have Braxton Miller or Dwayne Haskins?
I mean, that's a tough question just because I love Braxton so much. When I was coming, he was his freshman year was the year before I got to Ohio State. So, I saw him go in, he was my quarterback going in, my freshman year. But undisputably, the offense was better under Dwayne Haskins. It just was.
Yeah, the offense. My question is, who would you rather have?
Well, because I love Braxton so much, I'd rather have Braxton. But Lincoln Kienholz is not even remotely close.
Yeah, exactly. And Julian Sayin ain't remotely close to Dwayne Haskins.
We don't know. Now, let me tell you this.
You think he is?
I think with how well he throws the ball, I think he's got a shot to be, pretty darn good. Now, he doesn't have the size. He doesn't have the prototypical size Dwayne had. But this is the other reason why, Lincoln concerns me. So you talk about, growing and developing as a junior. Well, where was that development as a sophomore? Like, you got passed up by a true freshman on the depth chart. Like, what happened there? So, the coaches have now seen him for 2 full years. They know what they have. I will be interested to see what they do as far as who gets what reps coming out of spring. Like, I assume.
I don't know if they know they have.
I assume they're going to split the first team reps 60-40 between Sayin and Kienholz. I would be.
No, they said everyone's getting an equal shot. He said that Lincoln and Sayin or Julian are going to get the reps, and then Tavian is going to get some of the later ones. But they're all going to get first team reps. But those two are going to get most of them. I don't think they know they have in Lincoln, and that's why I said I think he's a developmental guy. I believe that he was one of those guys that you would never see until his junior or senior year. He's probably a guy that he's one of those guys that could possibly be like a bridge year, But I think that I don't think he's like, if you're usually the more talented guys, their biggest jump is the freshman to sophomore year. So there's a really good chance that's how they're playing, but there's a really good chance you're probably getting that out of Julian because he's gonna be really good. I think he can be really good this season. I think he's going to be if he starts. But for Lincoln, I think his would be his sophomore to junior year. And if you're telling me that he's a guy that knows the offense, he's been under Ryan Day for all these years. And again, I think if Ryan Day has been very open and honest with a lot of the players when it comes to the transfer portal, I think if Julian was the outright guy, they would have been told Lincoln to go. They would have been told.
I don't think I don't think it's like 100% clear cut in their minds what they're going to do. I think they have a lean. I think Sayin's definitely the lean. Like he's the more talented guy, but it's definitely going to come down to spring practice. Like I do think there's going to be a true competition. I know. Look, Ryan Day said like everyone's going to get an equal shot between Sayin, Kean Holtz, and Tavian St. Clair as far as like first team reps. Ain't no way Tavian's going to get as many reps as the other two. At least I don't think so.
No, he said he would get less.
Yeah. And maybe he lights the world on fire with those few first team reps that he gets, and maybe he does get a quote unquote equal shot. We'll see.
He better be damn special.
Yeah. No, I agree. What I'm interested to see is what this new spring contest looks like. And Day mentioned today, he still doesn't know exactly what the format's going to look like. He still doesn't have any details to share with us. So I'm a little afraid we're not going to see a ton of what these guys can do out on the field if there's not going to be a true spring game. Like we're not going to have an evaluation. I mean, in the media, is only get selected amount of practices, to watch them. So, we'll see what happens. I would love to have. Look, I'll say this: I don't expect whoever the quarterback is to come in and actually be better than Howard was this past year.
I think Julian's going to play better than him no matter what.
The problem with
and a lot of that has
he's
to
got
do
a lot of weapons.
Well, I think whoever starts quarterback this season, they're gonna have a better. I think they're gonna have a better offensive line. I think they're gonna have.
I don't think they'll have a better offensive line from what the offensive line was supposed to have been to start the year with Seth McLaughlin and Josh Simmons out there.
Yeah, but
that offensive line was supposed to be.
I'm not here to work with the supposed to. One of my favorite sayings: if my aunt has stones, she'd be my uncle. Well, I think if the offensive line stays together as a full unit, it's gonna be better throughout the season. I personally think the wide receiver unit is going to be better as a whole. And a lot of that, JJ year 2, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be a beast, sure.
Yeah, and no matter who the quarterback is, if you are a first-time quarterback, there is nothing better than having a really good tight end. And we have. So I don't know. I just think that they're going to be set up better.
Well, the only reason why I say that is because whoever's going to start, this is going to be their first year starting. Like Will had 3 years of starting experience before he came to Ohio State.
Yeah.
So he knew what it was to be out there. Now, I mean, I would be elated to see whoever it is play better. Like, I mean, that'd be great. I'm not going to set my expectations quite that high.
Oh,
especially when you add into the fact Brian Hartline is a first-time play caller. You have to add into the fact you've got a new offensive line coach as well.